Hi everyone, this is Darren with SimNation. Just want to do a quick recap video for GMCFL. This is our Draft Day Sports College Football 2025 league that focuses on the football championship series, otherwise known as Division 1 AA. So we don't have many coaches in this league. If you're interested, this is a great league to join. We have some pretty good coaches already. There's a lot of teams available. If you like the football championship series, this is perfect for you. If you don't and you just want to try a new up and coming league, definitely let me know. I will say that there are a couple of things we're working through within the league. We're going to fix prestige at the end of this season. We started every team under the prestige of 50. Now I've had 2 seasons. I'm going to calibrate it up to 80. Um, there are a lot of good players in this league. It's not your normal. A lot of players have 90s. This league is a little bit suppressed. Right now, 80s and 70s are considered elite for the players in different categories. I will be adjusting that just slightly for the upcoming season after this one. But if we do a quick recap, Incarnate Word, who won the championship last year, this is a CPU team, by the way, is ranked number 1. Northern Arizona is number 2. Coming at number 3 is our first human team, and this is Eastern Washington, which is 65 Toss Power Trap. And he's a really good coach, and historically he's done well. His only loss this season, by the way, was to Incarnate Ward, who's the same team that beat him in the championship game. Florida A&M is a CPU team. Portland State, same thing. North Dakota State, Maine, Texas Southern, Dartmouth, Western Carolina, Yale. All those are CPU teams if you're interested in them. They all have pretty good teams. Coming at number 12 is my William and Mary tribe. My wife went to William and Mary, so that's the reason why I selected them. And then again, as you can see, Northern Illinois, Norfolk State, Southern Jackson State, Montana, East Texas A&M, UC Davis, who used to have a coach, but he hasn't been active, so I had to remove him. Chattanooga, San Diego, Lehigh, Delaware, Brown Bills, and Missouri State. All those are CPU teams. Again, we only have about 4 or 5 coaches in this league, so great opportunity to come in. The teams I think that would be really good to coach would be Maine, um, Yale, Norfolk State. Norfolk State actually has um, a good hybrid quarterbacks. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank today. Montana is another good team to look at. UC Davis is a good team to look at. So is Northern Arizona. The other 2 coaches are both in. Um, One is at Gardner Webb. The other one is at South Dakota. I think is South Dakota. I get South Dakota State and South Dakota mixed up. South Dakota State is AllSmiles. Gardner Webb is Starfinder. You can see right now William and Mary is leading this division, although candidly they're tied with Hampton, Maine, and Delaware. William and Mary's got a good defense. That's really how they're winning right now. You can say they have a decent wide receiver, and then on defense they have a guy who's sacking like crazy. Recruiting is a little bit different because I have to fix the prestige, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. You can see in the big sky, it's definitely 65 toss power trap with Eastern Washington. UC Davis did have a really good coach. Hope he comes back. Same with Northern Arizona. They both, for the first season, had human coaches, and that helped set them up for some pretty good success. Um, in the Big South, you see UT Martin is leading there. Nothing really to see much there. Ivy League. The Ivy League is surprisingly overpowered, and they don't have a higher prestige than others, but Dartmouth and Yale have just been playing really, really well. Um, the MEAC is, I mentioned Norfolk State. They are a team to keep an eye on. Last year they had Height, who went to the WWPF. This league feeds into the WWPF and GMPFL. WWPF is our main Draft Day Sports Pro Football League. GMPFL is a coach's Draft Day Sports Pro Football League where you can do pretty much everything except for you have to use the coach's playbooks, which creates its own dynamic. Northeast Conference, you can see pretty wide open, nothing much to see there. And then when we get to the Missouri Valley Conference, this is where you'll find AllSmiles. South Dakota State's not doing horrible. They've just lost two. And I think once he gets that righted, he did make the playoffs last season, so I kind of he's got a little bit of a road ahead of him to get there, but I think he can still do it. In real life, this is one of those conferences where you get a lot of different champions out of it. And then, of course, you can see San Diego is having a pretty good season. Hill, Patriot League is Lehigh. I don't know why I clicked that a second time, but Southern Conference, you see Western Carolina and Chattanooga are the leaders there. South, the SWAC is you have Florida A&M Southern and Texas Southern who all are doing really well. South and East Texas A&M, and then the UAC with Eastern Kentucky. So I'm gonna just breeze through it because we don't have that many coaches. I'm pretty sure I missed Starfinder. So Starfinder has a good season. I think Gardner Webb can be there by the end of the season. They have an advantageous uh, way to get there. So the way it works right now is the top 16 teams are in the playoffs. We do have one bowl game that is your historical bowl game, and I'm sorry, it's the Heritage Bowl, I think. But overall, really good league. I definitely think people should want to try this out. It's got 65 Toss Power Trap is a really good coach. AllSmiles is showing he's a really good coach. Starfinder is a good coach. And then, of course, you got me in here as well, although William and Mary's nowhere close to where I want them to be. And I expect them to lose to probably Maine or Hampton at some point, just because those are traditionally ones that trip me up. Uh, but outside of that, if we look at the leaders real quick, you'll notice that Lindenwood and Valparaiso have the top two quarterbacks in the league. Passing touchdown wise, Florida A&M with Horace Bobbitt. I think he's in his second season. Will again, not great stats, but not horrible stats either. Southern had a tight end that went pretty high in the WWPF draft. And again, don't read into these. When they go to the pro, I have a formula that adjusts them back to what they should be. But you can see here that Southern has a pretty good quarterback as well. And then passing rating wise, again, Chattanooga with Scribner, and then Foster at Maine as a good quarterback. Rushing, this is going to be a lot of Eastern Washington. 65 toss power trap, hence the name, is really good at running the ball. So Martin Gooch is the current leader. Oscar Bonds is in the top three. And then you have Ryan McNeil from Yale and Edward White from Marist. He had John Whiteman, who went last year to the Jets in the WWPF draft. So he's building again. I don't remember Gooch really being a big player last season, but he had 525 yards. Most of these guys are only going to have 2 seasons under him because this is only the second season of this league. You can see rushing touchdowns wise, the North Dakota State Bison, Matt Miller is leading the league there. Receiving yards, it's again Dartmouth with Chisholm, and then Alvarado from Linwood Lions, which makes sense because our quarterbacks are rated high. Receiving touchdown, same thing. Nicholas State is up there with Rufus Adams and Gerard Lopez. Sack wise, you see Nicholas State, South Carolina State, Stonehill. Again, a lot of CPU teams because we have a lot of CPU teams. So, and then interception wise, this league has a lot higher interceptions than other leagues because there's much more, there's an equalized state between the wide receivers and the quarterbacks, which makes it a little bit more interception heavy. I'll work to fix that over the next season or two, but um, there are some really good players who will come out of here to go to the draft. So that's kind of the GMCFL. Some big games this week. If we look at Eastern Washington, they get, if I remember correctly, they will go against Northern Colorado. But the big game coming up is against Northern Arizona. If we look at Gardner Webb, they're coming off 2 weeks of a bye. They beat Tennessee Tech in the last. They get Western Illinois. They really have quite a bit of a harder schedule because they got Lindenwood and then UT Martin coming up. But I think Starfinder should be able to get itself into the playoffs. Um, William and Mary, of course, lost our first game against Lamar, and then they've been winning a lot of games based on defense. They get a bye this week before they go to Elon and then Hampton. And then, as I mentioned, this is the game that'll probably trip them up against Maine, which tripped them up last year, but they still managed to make the playoffs even though they bowed out in the first round. And then if we go here to South Dakota State, which is AllSmiles, um, he, as you can see, started the year pretty strong, and then he's lost two really nail biters, to North Dakota and Illinois State. That always sucks when you lose games by less than three or less. But he gets Missouri State. If he can win this game and then he can take out Northern Illinois and win out, he should make the playoffs. So that's kind of it for now. Just wanted to introduce you to this league. I'll do some recap videos on it. If you're interested, I'll have the link in the channel. Join us on Discord. We'd love to have you in this league. We want to kind of grow it. Also, if you're interested in getting the raw league file for this, let me know. I'm more than willing to share it, although I still have to do some work around the graphics for the end zones and stuff like that. But a lot of the teams have the right graphics now for their team and so on. So thank you for your time. Have a great night.